All right. Hey, welcome everybody to the Pantheon live stream. My name is Josh Koenig. I'm a co-founder here, and I'm really excited for what you're about to see. We're actually doing some real stuff. This is a real site, a real migration. It's a real developer. One of my favorites, showing you exactly what he did. Jason, I'll introduce you real quick, but then you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and fast forward. Jason's been a partner of Pantheon for a long time. We've done great work with his agency. He actually was in our a study that we did almost 10 years ago with like the original jobs to be done book authors to really understand, even though we came from the agency world, what it was Pantheon did for digital agencies to help them serve their clients better. I didn't know him before that study, but got to chat with him a bunch going through it and have followed closely ever since. And what he's going to show us here is how typically the cobbler's children have no shoes. Agencies struggle to manage their own web presences and keep them up to date. It usually turns into a scope creepy hobby project. And what he did was, with the assistance of Claude, moved his own fastforward.sh site from a kind of aging Gatsby and WordPress stack to pure Markdown on Pantheon's Next.js, and got it all done in like an afternoon. This is an example of what's emerging as a possibility as our craft is changing. We've got a lot more examples like this in the pipeline, but this is such a great one because it's just so down to earth and real, and he's going to show us how it actually worked. So Jason, I'll stop talking and turn it over to you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So yeah, brief for everybody that's on. Like Josh said, we've been a Pantheon partner for over a decade. I've been building sites starting in Drupal 7, Drupal 8, 9, 10, then more into WordPress. Our agency is a developer-led agency. We're a small group, currently 6 of us, all of us software engineers. We tend to do more complex things in React and Next, and yeah. So I got excited about trying to see if I could migrate our own site over to Next. Most of my company is very, very busy right now. I happen to be lucky to not be that busy. And one morning I was like, hey, let me just see if I can do this. I always like trying the new stuff at Pantheon. Usually the workflow stuff helps, and I just wanted to see what could be done. And yeah, I was kind of surprised. It went pretty well. I don't think it's necessarily going to be how we do every migration, but I think for what I learned from this, Claude's going to be very, very instrumental in probably parts of all of our migrations. So yeah, I think I love the idea, Josh, of like, let's just start from scratch and run it and let people see what happens.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. All right. Shall we kick it off?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go, and we did a little prep work here, so there's a little bit of a cooking show style where we'll pull the pre-chopped onions out in a few places, but otherwise, I mean, this is I'm excited because again, this is something that anybody who wants to could follow this path, and they might find their own version of it, but this is like a way to actually get your hands dirty, get started, figure out what works, what's hard, what's easy, and I want more people to be able to get in the arena like this. So take it away.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to start with a completely empty folder, with the exception of I did just before this configure Claude with a couple of guardrails, because I found that it kept looking at our finished site and saying like, hey, here's the canonical URL, here's the finished site. I'm gonna actually bring the answer down. So I had to. The only thing I've done in here is gone in and told it, don't cheat and go to the finished product. So I did. It's one of the things that was actually pretty hard about this and getting ready for this demo was like, it found the canonical URL on the old site and was like, hey, it looks like you've already moved this to Next, so why don't I just go there? So prior to this morning, I'm gonna try that. This is our old site. Just to show you, everything is on Pantheon. We're gonna try to use Terminus and GitHub at the command line and let Claude go find the code, go find what's out here already. So this is our new site, and this is our old site. So it is still up there on Pantheon. So this is the old Gatsby front end with a WordPress CMS. There it is. And here's the old CMS in WordPress. Works great. The WordPress site is mostly ACF with flexible layouts. We kind of like that. It's a pattern we've used a lot, but most of the content editing is me and my business partner doing it. So I wanted to get over to Next.js and see if we can do everything just in Markdown files. So let me get started. So I'm going to literally start out with how we plan a migration. And again, so you don't have to watch me type it all. I did write out my prompt. This is the prompt I used when I started this. And let's just put it right in here. So I went through a couple of iterations when I did it. I said, like, I actually did spend a little bit of time with Claude and said, if I was going to do a migration, how would I do it? And we built this prompt. And really, we can start out with just this. Help me plan a migration of our existing site. It's a headless WordPress CMS with a Gatsby front end. New site should be Next.js 16. I want full visual parity, and I'm okay using the same CSS approach. So I did have to I found it very helpful to be like, okay, what do I want? I don't want you to just go out and try to figure out how you would do a migration, but what do I want to do for a migration? And because I knew I wanted to look at how this was done, and I know that doing migrations, it's really good to be able to repeat things. I made it clear, like, let's make sure we can repeat these different steps. And then I've added a couple of notes about the canonical domain. When I did this myself, we kind of went back and forth, Claude and I, saying, where's the code? Where's this? Where's that? So I've answered some of those questions to see if we can get going. So let's have it come up with a little plan. So we'll see. This step should go pretty quick. Don't want everybody to phase out while we do this.
It's funny. I actually have mine configured. Like I haven't done too much with like system prompting, but I told it to like stop with like the cutesy descriptions of what it's doing for itself. So I haven't actually seen it in a while, and I get why the product managers like decided that should be the default. It is somewhat endearing as it goes around.
No, I'll have to turn. I think I'll have to do the same thing. I like that.
Well, so I'm just while we're talking over this, the real reason was I did that was not because the little prompt. I think it's a side effect of what I told it. Like it wasn't the little prompt thing or what it's doing right now that was annoying me. It was like when it would make mistakes, it would like act all histrionic and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm panicking. And I'm like, I don't need this from you, man. Like you're giving me you can be a robot. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, and when I was doing this, there are some things coming up here we're starting to see in the logs. Like when I was doing this, it was, pointing out, hey, wait, do you have GitHub Actions installed? Do you have GitHub command line installed? Do you have Terminus installed? So I have prompted this ahead of time. And like, I have Terminus, I have GitHub Actions. I want to use that. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting. It will go out and try to crawl the site and decide if you want. And I'm very specific. And it would ask me, do you want to look at the source code? Do you have the code locally? Do you have it up on the server? I have kind of sped this up and said, like, I have the code in repos. Go look at it there. And it's going to start working its way through. See, it already, because I have my notes, it already is going back and saying, like, hey, I think you have your notes. So let's see. Clean slate, local directory, old front end, old CMS. And here's our target. All right, so it's got a couple questions for me coming up. Okay, this is great. This is what I saw over and over again, and these are the same questions we might ask a client. Mm-hmm. What are we gonna do when we're done? So it didn't just, I didn't give it all the details it needed, right? So it's like, what do I wanna do? Do I wanna keep the same CMS? No. Do I want a new cloned? I want to go static export, and I want to go to Markdown files. I'm actually going to give it, I want to go static export with Markdown file, with MDX files. I don't want a lot. I don't want any JS. I don't want any.
Yeah. Give it the specific instruction, like give me clean Markdown.
Yep. All right. We want to deploy to Pantheon front-end sites. We're going to go ahead and use.
Actually, we should have the option to deploy if you go back to the Pantheon Next.js, which is actually a different target than front end sites. It might follow the wrong path.
Yeah.
It doesn't know about our new launch yet. That's something I'll have to work on.
I think when I did this, I was able to launch to that, but I had to walk it through and say, here's my repo.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like I actually went into Pantheon myself and connected it all. But
yeah.
I've seen the demos of that, and that would be a really good add to this.
Yeah, totally. I think it's just like the documentation for that is not in the probably was not live when the last training run was done for this. So it might be something where, but we actually have a bunch of stuff coming out with like MCP capabilities and like skill files and so forth. So like in the future, you'll be able to just like point Claude at an endpoint and make it smarter about Pantheon and up to date.
That's going to be great. So it's already done a little bit of discovery on my site and found out that I have a contact form. Our contact form actually uses a custom plugin that we wrote that connects to monday.com. So what do you want me to carry over? Also, we had our Google Analytics. So I want to carry over my Google Analytics. I want I'm going to let it generate its own sitemap. And mostly I'm going to defer. I'm going to tell it, defer the monday.com. So I just want to speed this up. I don't want to get bogged down in that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, right, that's
migration first.
Yeah, that's all we're going to focus on today. But that is going to be the big decision factor at the end. And do we do this in Next or do we do this in WordPress? It's like a whole nother. You and I have had that discussion a lot of like, it's super enticing to go this direction, but you do give up a lot. You do have to redo a lot of things. But all right, so those decisions is going to crank. I'd like it to come back and show us the plan and show you how it walks through the plan. And then we may have to just jump ahead and show you where it gets to. What I've found is what I'm really excited about that I think takes too long to sit and watch is the discovery phase. So I break my imports into two phases. One is the discovery. Go out to the old site, read through the code, read through the content. We have content in our custom content types for our portfolio pages. But we were in a rush. So like you said, the cobbler's kid's shoes. A lot of our pillar pages are static coded right into the Gatsby templates.
So you sort of had content in both WordPress and hard coded in the front end.
Right.
Which that's not uncommon though for like landing pages and stuff like that,
Right. What I found though, this was amazing. It had been a long time since I looked at this. And we did build it as a team before, so I wasn't even aware of where all of that is, right? And so, of course, same problem we have. We do a big university migration. We did a huge migration for Boston Medical Center. Stuff is everywhere. Stuff is, organic development of a site over a decade is going to lead to this. So I think the discovery phase is what I'm excited about. And looking at this on a small, this is why I encourage everybody here to try this on a small site and just wrap your head around, like, where does it fit in? We would do that discovery with lots and lots of scripts, dumping out to spreadsheets, taking a look at it. This did a much better job with it.
Yeah, totally. Right. I mean, that's in my sort of AI realist framework of thinking. It's like finding the jobs that this technology is really, really good at. And this is one of them. It's like exhaustively working through a whole big corpus of materials and like making an inventory, figuring out where things are at. It's like that stuff that when people have to do it, it like takes so long.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind numbing. When mind numbing tasks are tasks that humans have a higher error rate on, like this is right in the sweet spot of what this tech should do, how this tech should make our lives a lot better.
Yeah. So here it is. I mean, I've rerun this several times from scratch, and it always finds the gotcha. That's just what we were talking about. Like, I've got, I understand what the content model is. You've got your CMS content for our work, but you've got this other stuff in your components.
Cool. Hey, actually, while we're watching, because it wasn't on your start page before, but it was advertising Fable to you for the people following the token counts at home. What which Claude are you running this through?
I'm running through Fable right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I decided that popped up yesterday. I was like, well, sure, let's go for it. What the heck?
Nice.
All right, so here's our plan. And again, I've got this up on a blog post. I grabbed a bunch of screen grabs of this for people who want to look at it later.
Yeah.
But our decisions, our target architecture. Again, I like to put this stuff together and document it and give it to a client. Takes me days to put that kind of stuff together and get it ready and then walk the client through it. And I get a little frustrated because I think a lot of clients don't actually look at it. But it's super useful for us. That's a lot there. That's a lot. I remembered the 404 page. I feel like in 75% of the projects I do, nobody mentions the 404 page. Little details like is sticky on posts. All this stuff should be, commonplace to us. It's like, yeah, we know how to do this. We can do this ourselves. But I got here, I think a lot faster.
Yeah.
And again, we also know, right, even with a WordPress site, they're not all the same. WordPress isn't one thing. We're using GraphQL instead of REST. We could be configuring our site, dozens of different ways. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a tendency to run long. I'm going to let it just roll.
All right.
And I will jump real quick to our little cooking mode where we're going to get to. So as we get further along, it's going to come back. I've asked it to document as I go as well. So we're going to end up with, I like to do this. I liked this to not only have it in the, of course, it's always there in the log, the discussion log, and we can go back and we can look at that in Claude. But I like to have it actually write out some other artifacts as we go that are going to document. They're going to be there for folks who aren't in Claude. And I think we've had that in other discussions where it's like, we don't have to stay in AI for everything. We don't have to stay in Claude for everything. Like, let's use it to get us pieces we need. So here's mine. It's going to come back. We're going to go back and forth, and we're going to decide on where our new stuff is going and what the new shape of our scheme is going to look like in Next. What site data is going to be extracted from the hard-coded copy. So here is the home page is going to go to MDX. Our work is going to go to MDX. Contact global. And here's our, which fields on the old content types, post types are going to go into MDX front matter. And our end result is going to end up being content, our case studies. Here's our front matter. And then here's our sections. And then broken out into our app.
Wow. And would you say that, at the end of this, did you end up having to fine tune any of the code that came out by hand, or was it pretty much good to go? Like I'm always curious.
No.
That I like. It feels like one of those things where it's like the well, what I'm trying to say. There's a part of what's going on right now with this stuff in our industry that I love because it democratizes the ability for people to express themselves through software. You actually don't need to know how to write code to do some cool stuff with this, which is amazing. But when you do know how to write code, you can prompt things better, and also you can like fix little things at the end that are actually kind of annoying to try to chat with the agent to resolve. I'm just curious, like how much like fine tuning at the very end you ended up doing.
Yeah, this is actually, so I grabbed the screenshot of what I actually got at the end. And I was like, so first after kind of migrating all the content, running scripts and getting it through, I was like, this looks really good. I was like, we're close. Um, that was the first pass, but notice it very specifically didn't bring over any interactive components yet. So I don't have a hamburger menu. I don't have hover states and all the like fancy stuff we did. And then once I did bring it in, it was able to get like our animation and our hero, but our hamburger menu is gone. It's broken. It's hanging out over here. And there were a bunch of especially little front end things on our site that were not right. I did a mix of using Claude to help me diagnose it and writing it myself. I kind of started with Claude and said, like, literally took a screen grab of it and was like, what do you think's going on here? And it dug in. It's like, okay, we upgraded Tailwind, and you've got a problem here. This is a classic problem. Da 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 da. Yeah, at that point, it went from, this is where maybe we should be honest, it didn't get done in one afternoon. Then it went to a couple of days of like dealing with these little things. And I was probably 50-50. I was trying on this project to use Claude 100%. I wanted to like, I'm not fully bought into vibe coding for everything, but I wanted to see like where does it work? Where does it not work? At the end, that got a little tedious. I got a little like, God, it probably had to retry fixing the hamburger menu like 6 times. And probably what I would have done in my own development workflow would have been jump over to Storybook, test the menu, rebuild it, and like been done. They're definitely, I don't think it did. That was definitely one of the kind of challenging points. That's kind of where it got to.
Yeah, I feel like that's been my experience and a lot of what I've talked to people about too, which is you reach a point of like, and I'm again, with no disrespect to all of the interns out there, like the artificial intern acronym is like, I like that, at least for me as mental framing, because it's like, yeah, you can get a whole bunch done with this team of folks that are smart and just go after it. But then like at the very like getting the details right, sometimes you just want to fix it versus talking to a thing that's attempts to fix it for you and may or may not get it right on the first or 6th time. So like, I think, that's something that like workflow and, better, like you said, like you did some work at the beginning to set up structure for this. I feel like as a craft, we're going to get better at, setting the agents up for success more and more. But I it's just the nature of the beast that like they're not deterministic outcomes. These are probabilistic systems, and so you're going to need to always have human oversight. And then like there are going to be so many cases where just getting in there and making the fix will be way faster and more efficient than trying to work through the agent to do everything. Kind of like mixed mode is super. But I mean, the fact is, you got the content migration done in an afternoon, and the bulk of like the rebuild of the site done, which is in and of itself quite impressive. And like, a couple days to like work through all the nitty gritty and QA. I still think, again, we're hoping to at some point in the not too distant future be able to do a case study on our own website in a similar fashion. And like, website's not the most complicated in the world, but it's got a bunch of different content types. It's got like, a decade's plus worth of content that's been published on it. There's complexity in there. And I think, the great thing about this is as we find patterns that work here, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to get this to scale up.
Yeah.
To do more.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here.
By more, I mean just like handle larger and larger scopes of content to be migrated.
Yeah, I mean, I can walk away from this stuff. Like running migration scripts and writing all the migration scripts is like so much time and doing a big migration. We've tried to do crawlers, especially out of WordPress sites that have these like legacy page builders. They're brutal. I think it's a problem we're still trying to solve. I think it's a problem we can, yeah. So anyway, the rest of this, I think, is going to be watching Claude do its thing. This is the part where we could just kind of walk away and watch it. And
yeah, totally.
There's a GitHub repo with the results that people can take a look at if they're interested more. There's information up on the blog post, but I'd really love to see what you're working on.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes here. So I'll just do a quick teaser. Yeah. I think I can just share my screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Let's see. Boom. Oh, Inception. Okay. So what I did was I'm not going to show because we're pressed for time, so I'll just show some of the outcomes, and then maybe we'll do another live stream with the nuts and bolts. But so I am testing like maybe the Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know, Jekyll and Hyde. It's like the Mario Wario version of the workflow that you just did, which is, what if I have a site that's all in Markdown, but I want to make it easy for non-developers to edit it? And so what I had Claudito do is build me just a fake website of articles that I've written on a few different places. So this is just like if I had my own thing, and this is running with Markdown. So if you're seeing my terminal, there's like this content articles, right? Here's all our articles. Let me bump the font size up. And like it works great. Like it's a great little site with the content stored in Markdown, and that works great for what it is. And then what I wanted to see was if I could turn it into, hold on one second. Checkout feature. It is starter kit. And then I need to do an np, and then I need to like turn it off and do npm install because it uses a bunch of other stuff. And then npm dev run, or run dev. And now go back here. Hopefully it's still working. Yes, it's still working. Here's that article. But that article is now, should have done a little more cooking show myself. This is now a Google Doc served out of Pantheon Content Publisher, which means that if I wanted to be an editor on it and say, like, maybe we got some, maybe I wanted to make this a link. There we go. Make that a link. And I click publish. And I hit reload. That's a link now. And in a perfect world, you can get the we'll get the live preview thing working too. So that's a little bit of what I am working on, and I'll bring to a future live stream to show end to end. Because I think the ability to Sherpa things around with AI as your assistant is like going to be really liberating. And so, a world where it's like we get out of legacy systems and you get into like pure Markdown, if that's what you want, or you're in Markdown and then you can easily pivot to like making the docs accessible in Google for people, and we just keep the whole thing working as we modernize our stacks and get ourselves let more people do the work where they're happy doing it. I think that's I don't really buy any of like the future, like the AI means the end of software. I just think it means that like our experiences should be that we get to use more of the tools that we prefer to use because we have a better and better and better intermediaries in the form of these transformers.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the integrations are like the integrations that are stuff done behind the scenes that like come back on us as developers, and it's not what everybody thinks is sexy. It's not what everybody really needs. I mean, our content's written in Google Docs. It's written in Google Docs and handed over to us. I wrote my blog post in Google Docs. We keep all our case studies with each of our projects, and that's where they're going to live. It makes sense to us. It's how we organize content. Forcing somebody to organize it just for the website was just creating duplicates. So
yeah, and that's been kind of a feature of or a bug in the industry for so long that everybody's got their workarounds for it, and it's all sort of like, yep, that's just how it is. But I think again, quality of life improvements that will come from AI will include things like no longer having to like maintain multiple copies of things around, because we actually can directly integrate more of our systems, organize our content, make the tools work together in ways that were probably hypothetically possible because we've been in the era of openness and APIs for a while, but practically speaking, the work to integrate all the systems and keep those integrations up and running was a lot. And now we actually have it's not like hard computer science. It's just like endless amounts of string munging. And guess what? That's what the transformers are great at. So let's put them to work.
I think we're hitting the end, but let me while you were talking while we were talking, it's like almost done. I think one of the things I actually kind of blew is can we see this now? If you pop my screen back up. I threw it on auto mode, and I didn't tell it to stop at the end of each phase. So that's one of the reasons.
So it's just like it went just plowed through.
Yeah. So when I actually did this, and I think it's an important thing, is tell it to stop at each phase. And so even if you put on auto mode, you can walk away and come back and like, I'm at the end of phase 1. Do we want to check in? This one, I kind of, getting ready this morning, I forgot to do that. So while we've been talking, it has finished its discovery, did a scaffold of Next, determined what it wanted to use for architecture, and run the export import. So you can see my footer block is built, my post blocks is built. So this is not cooking show. This is still running, still cranking away, but has, it's gotten me pretty far along here. So
awesome, man.
Content is in here, our work. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, we're at our time block, and this was really cool, Jason. Thank you for coming on and showing us
thank you.
how stuff is really working for you. And we'll have to do something like this again, maybe later on this summer.
Awesome. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks for joining. If you want to try this out on Pantheon, just log in. You can build Next.js sites. You can just build things, as they say. And there's also an announcement blog post that kind of runs through what we have live now, where we're going with it. We've got a long vision for this. Our platform started with open source CMSs, Drupal, then we added WordPress, but Next.js is the new frontier for us. And we're really excited about everything that's coming. But there's a lot there now. So get out there and give it a shot, and let us know what you run into and what else you'd like to see on future live streams. It's been a pleasure. Have fun out there making the internet.